So, well, it's the nature of the Championship, isn't it? You have a 2-week break and then a really busy week coming up, and I guess no point in really hiding from it either. A really important week.
It is a very important week. You're absolutely correct. You know, we've obviously had the international break, but when you come out the international break, it is, you know, full steam ahead. 3 games in a week, 2 away from home, and obviously we've had a bit of time to analyse the first 11 games, which we've done with the players, and now we've obviously got to start winning some games, and especially away from home.
Yeah, and you've got yourself an injury boost then with Mark Beevers being back, which is good.
Well, Mark's back. He looks good. You know, we've missed him. I didn't realise, because the games are that, you know, come so quick, that how many we've actually missed them. But yeah, he gives a calming influence to the team. He gives us his quality, his left foot with the balance. He gives us height, both boxes. You know, so sometimes it's only when people are not playing that you realise how much you actually miss them, and we've definitely missed Mark.
With the injury situation more broadly, are you roughly the same? I guess you've got to factor in, not that it's injuries, but Ronnie Edwards and Connor having been away as well.
Yeah, they've been away. They've both played a couple of games, both done well. They watched the session today as opposed to taking part in it. They did start the warm up in the boxes, but they just watched all the tactical work that I did. But they'll be fine for Saturday. Both of them will be fine. They won't have any issues at all.
What sort of difference does it make that they've both been away, and that whatever you've been working on, I guess they clearly haven't been able to be a part of? How difficult was that?
Yeah, I mean, what we've done, what we've worked on is they've missed a key meeting to go through all the analytical stuff in terms of and getting thoughts of players and what we've needed to improve on. But it's good for them that they've gone away and got games, you know, at international level. I always want to encourage that, and Connor's obviously captain the Ireland team. Ronnie, you know, has played a couple of games for England, which will definitely benefit him, playing against real quality in France and Belgium. So he did well by all accounts, so and it's really good for him.
With the attacking options, we know about the limitations you've got there.
Yeah.
Is it a case of you just lay your cards on the table and Sammy and Sariki is what you need to make work to be successful this week, or have you got a few different ideas?
No, we've always got different ideas. That's one of them, you know. And look, I don't think it's correct that we can make any excuses about injuries and all the rest of it. It's part and parcel of the game. We have to get on with it. Jono's been banned. That's another thing we've had to deal with. Randall's been injured. Ricky's been. It is. You have to come up with ideas as a manager. These things will test you, and it gets you thinking and keeps you thinking. So, you know, we've got players that can play there. We've seen Idris coming on last week, or the week before, sorry, at Bristol. We've seen Kwame come on. Obviously, the others have been playing more often. So we've got bodies that'll just have to, if they get an opportunity, take it.
Is it important as well, given the strengths of the players that you've got? An obvious one is with Johnson being out, you lose that physicality. Is it important just to focus on what you can do? You'd love to be able to mix it up more, but do you just get on with the strengths that you've got?
Absolutely. You have to focus on that and keep working on that. And obviously we have to work on where we're showing weaknesses at the moment. And there's clear stats that show where we need to improve quickly. But in terms of on the ball, we need to find a way of playing that's going to suit the players in the team. That's my job, and that's what we've been working on.
Yeah, and presumably as part of that, not worrying too much, in that you could make the argument is perhaps a little easier for some opponents to work out what you might want to do given those strengths, but don't worry about that too much.
No, we always respect every opponent, but we really need to focus on our own performances, and not just a performance from, you know, I'm talking about performances within a game. That's been a problem, you know, performances and moments in games where things have changed quickly. We have to be better at that and perform within a game. You know, there's going to be times in every game we play this season where you come under the cosh. Saturday will be no different. You have to see it through. If you concede, you have to just go back to plan A and stick to it. And then obviously, you know, you've got to be good enough on the day. But certainly, there's certain things that we've gone through that we need to change. But I have every confidence in them, I have every belief. They need to make sure that they have that as well.
Yeah, and talking about the stats, the possession's been pretty good over recent games. You've created lots of chances. One area I'm sure you will have looked at is the number of shots on target. Do you think that's to do with taking shots from areas where it's been hard to get the quality of shot away, or is it just down to the pure quality of shooting? What do you think?
I think at the moment, what I'm seeing with my players, even some training sessions, they've still got the handbrake on, you know, and because they won't release it because they haven't got the belief at times, you know, and my hope is that once we get ahead in our away game or winning an away game, that we just sort of relax and play. Because what I've said to them is they have to be able to relax and play and not clam up. I'm not saying that they are, to get the best out of themselves. Otherwise, we're never going to see the best of them, you know. And we've seen 3 or 4 occasions at home this season where we in Birmingham completely destroyed them. You know, Bournemouth was a defensive performance. Cardiff, really good performances. So we've got it in there. It's not as if we're not good enough in terms of what we've not been is good enough in a consistent basis, especially away from home. So we've got to correct that, and you know, over the last couple of weeks we've been working away about certain things that we can try and do.
Yeah, and talking about that belief, Nathan Thompson, a great example in that respect, in that he seems to be one player who has just taken to this level and is demonstrating that belief week in, week out. You think of something like the Bournemouth game where he just seemed so on top of everything he was doing. If the other players can take a bit of that.
Well, Tom was a great example of what exactly I want, and he doesn't want to waste this opportunity of being in the Championship. You know, Tom was one of our more experienced players, hasn't played in the Championship, never had the opportunity. Now he's got one. He's fought like hell to get there, like we all have. And like myself, we don't want to come out of it, you know. And he's shown the right attitude, the right desire. Yeah, listen, we're suffering a bit, but you can't ever question his commitment or his performances. He's been excellent, really good. He's a good player, really good player, and a great lad. He's a great example for the others. That's what I need to see of others. Fearless, and making sure that everyone can see that he's determined to make sure we stay in this league.
And I suppose that's one of the reasons why we'd label this week as being an important week, in that if it can go to plan and you get a couple of good results, it can help to inject a bit of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you come out of a break, if you get that first win, it can really change things quickly, and that's what we've got to try and do. We've got to go to Middlesbrough and try and get the 3 points. You know, that can change the whole dynamics of a season. You know, I've seen it myself with my own teams. I've seen it with other teams, and that's what we've got to try and do. This is a big week for us. We've got to start picking up points. Clearly, I know that's an obvious thing to say, but if we can manage to do it this week, then the whole thing can change quickly. Yeah,
and with Middlesbrough and Neil Warnock, I mean, as experienced as you're going to get really as a manager.
His record's fantastic. His desire and what's the right word? Application to still want to be a manager is got to be admired, you know. And he's still going. I don't know how old he is, but he's still going strong. You can see his enthusiasm. You still see him barking at referees. He's a good example of just continuing on to work, and his record's excellent. You know, I've only come up against him a couple of times, Neil, but you know, full respect for him that wants to continue working with that enthusiasm.
Yeah, enthusiasm is the word, isn't it? To be at that age and still enjoy every game as though it's your first one.
Yeah, he probably doesn't enjoy every game, but he knows that, you know, more than anyone about the good and the bad in football matches. But I think just to have that enthusiasm, and to be fair, his team has as well. He demands that off his team, and that's what we're going to be coming up against on Saturday.